Hi, this is Chris Watts. We're here at the View Club in Brighton with Simon Laws. He's going to talk to us all about the Skinhead reunion too. How you doing, Simon?
Yeah, I'm alright. Very tired and a bit wired, but yeah, good.
So this is a really great event that's happening in Brighton. Can you tell us all about it?
Yeah, well, basically, last year I was on the internet and I joined a little Facebook group which was a Skinhead reunion in London, and somebody said on it, "Oh, how do you fancy going to Brighton?" And I said, yeah, all right, I'm up for that. I live in Brighton. And then the guy that was organising it couldn't, so I took it over and said, I'll find a pub and for a couple of blokes to have a beer. And then the word got around. One of my mates got in touch and said, oh, I'll DJ. Another guy said, oh, I've got a band, I'll play. And then the word just spread like crazy. And we did a completely free event down at the Volks last year in June. And 350 people turned up, and it was absolutely crazy. So, and they all complained because it all finished at 10 o'clock and then no one had anywhere to go. So this year, I sort of bit the bullet and booked. We did Hydrant on Friday night as a sort of pre-party. We did all day at Volks from 12 till 10. Again, free day. We had a band called Scarred for Life come and play, another band called Case, and that was all a free event. And then we've booked The View over in Hove for an all-night event with Roy Ellis, who is our legend, who was in a band called Symond back in the day. And I mean, Roy's music was, for me, you know, just, it was my youth, you know, dancing at the disco to Skinhead Moonstomp is like when I was 12 years old, and that was all it. So to me, it's a bit of a meeting Elvis Presley experience, you know. So yeah, so here we are. But yeah, I mean, basically, it's just gone crazy. I mean, the word spread. We haven't got any like media, any money or adverts or anything like that. It's purely word of mouth, and the word is spread around. We've got people come over from Singapore. We've got, you know, from Northern Ireland, Scotland, all across England. We've got Germans. We got Polish. We got all sorts of people turned up. It's just amazing, really.
Yeah, and the thing about the music is, though, it draws people from all over the world, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean, the thing is with ska music is it's not commercial music. It's an amazing catalogue of music, which, I mean, I personally grew up in a place called High Wycombe, which was quite near Heathrow Airport. So we got the first wave of West Indian immigrants into England, really, in the sort of late 60s, early 70s. And as a child, I grew up listening to calypso and reggae. It was the music of our estate. So I suppose it got into my blood then. And then, you know, when I was 14, Two-Tone happened, and so it's just been in my system ever since. And you know, it's incredible, really.
And with this event, I mean, originally it was quite small, wasn't it? But then it's just grown and grown.
Yeah, well, it's very small. It was just literally a few old friends meeting up for a drink. Because in the Skinhead days, we'd all go up Carnaby Street and hang about, you know, on a Saturday. And it was just that. It was just going to be a bunch of old who's still alive come and meet in Brighton. It literally was. And it's just gone crazy. I mean, we've got people from 15 years old up to, well, Roy's got to be in his 70s. Yeah. So, and we've got everybody in between, you know, black, white, old, young, women, male, good-looking, ugly, fat, everybody. They're all here, you know. I mean, a lot of skinheads because they're dressing it, they love it. It's their culture, and it's what it's all about. It's very interlinked with the music, and yeah, it's incredible. It's a worldwide thing now, you know. I mean, the media in England has never been supportive at all. They're not supportive of black music, really. They're definitely not supportive of skinheads. They're definitely not supportive of British youth cultures. And this is the thing is with ska music is, I mean, Roy Ellis will tell you this, it was all recorded in England. You know, the Jamaicans came to England because they had nowhere in Jamaica to do it. The Americans weren't interested because their music is very you know, pinned in. You know, you've got country and western, you've got rock and roll, you've got jazz, you've got blues, you've got these things. But reggae music was a new thing, and it was black music. Well, we've got black music, we've got the blues. Why do we need this stuff? So, you know, people like Island Records came over and started bringing these Jamaican acts in and putting it out there. And then you had Trojan and Blue Beat and all these different labels that set up and sold this stuff. But it was sold to kids on council estates. It wasn't sexy. You know, the singers were big fat black blokes. You know, they weren't...
Great singers.
Yeah, they were great singers. Exactly.
Really, you could say that ska, reggae found its home in England, couldn't you?
It absolutely found its home in England. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Even Bob Marley, I mean, Royal too. All the reggae musicians all came to England. It all came from England. The musicians themselves came from Jamaica, but it was put together and marketed from England, and it's still here today, worldwide. It's an amazing thing, you know.
Yeah, and it's amazing with like the story of how it all started, really, because I was lucky enough to talk to some of the original Jamaican artists, the original guys that brought it over, and it's just fantastic, isn't it? How it's developed and how it keeps going strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, you've got a lot of. I mean, like a band, for instance, like Scarred for Life that play today. Now, you know, they're a cover band. They're singing other people's songs. But the fact of the matter is, there's a girl in that band, probably, I don't know, maybe 19 years old. You know, the whole crowd, you know, long hairs, young hairs, all sorts, all dancing to this amazing music. And you just see and you look at that and you think that music is so powerful. And I think the thing with it is it's a music that means something. It comes from a culture. It's not. It's representing a culture. It's not like, oh, let's sell the latest record. It's
nothing's fabricated.
Yeah, it's not fabricated. And I mean, myself personally, all the records I would collect when I was young, I used to love the sort of studio ones and those type of singles that were recorded in these little sheds in Jamaica. Or that's how I imagine they were recorded, you know. And it was all crackly and scratchily, and it was all badly done. But that was the love of it. It was punk rock, really. You know, what we created punk rock, but reggae was the original punk rock. It was all, but very talented people coming from the ghettos and you know, not even the ghettos really, but just the shanty towns really, creating this amazing music. And it is fantastic. And I've met, you know, over the years, I've met Prince Buster, and I'm very close friends with Madness, and you know, and it goes on generation after generation. My kids are now 16 and 18. They love it. You know, my sister, who's 6 years older than me, you know, she loves it. Everybody loves it. It goes in you. It's in your blood, and it's amazing music. You know,
it's such an infectious beat, isn't it? The music. I mean, it's like when I first got into it, it was through Madness, because you know I'm more that kind of age, but. You love Madness, you go to the gigs, and then you find out about all this great music from the past, and you just get, you know, infused by it, and you want to be around it, and you just love the music.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, I'm similar in a way. I mean, although I said, you know, I grew up and I listened to Calypso and reggae, I didn't really know much about it. It was just the music that was around. But again, I remember when Madness and the Specials first came onto Top of the Pops, because in those days Top of the Pops was religion. We all watched Top of the Pops, and we were all into punk at the time. And I remember the Specials came on, and they looked like us. They had shaved heads, and they were wearing. We didn't wear suits, but they had shaved heads. Well, they looked like skinheads, you know. And that's what we were into. And they played this music, and I'll tell you what, it was like a revolution. It went across the country, and two-tone was absolutely every kid in the country was either a skinhead or wore the clothes, listened to that music. It only lasted maybe 2 or 3 years, but. It swept the country because it was such a new, fresh sound, and it was a mixture. You had punk and you had reggae, and those two cultures collided and mixed, and it created this amazing music. And again, like you do, it's you listen to that two-tone for a couple of years, and then you realise, oh, you know, what's Buster? What's that got to do with anything? And then you find out about Prince Buster, and then you find out about Trojan and Bluebeat and the labels, and you start looking back, and then you start finding bands like the Pioneers and, you know, the Simmerip and all these different bands, lots of them, you know, and such amazing music. I mean, a lot of them they covered, you know, pop songs and gave a reggae beat to it, which are quite nice, you know, tunes in their own rights. But, you know, I mean, there's a whole array. There's a massive
catalogue, yeah.
Absolute massive catalogue of it. And I mean, you know, I was a bit of a snob, I suppose. I would collect records that were only 60s, you know, up to about 1969. Once it got a 70 on it, ooh, it's not so good. Do you know what I mean? Because that's my anal train spottingness, you know what I mean? But that was when it all started, and there was that buzz of it all, you know. But yeah, an incredible time.
And with the two-tone movement, I mean, one of my favourite films of that is Dance Craze. Do you like that?
Brilliant, fantastic, yeah. I mean, you know, I think when those films came out, you know, like Take It or Leave It by Madness or Dance Craze, when those films were made, I mean, it was our thing. It was like being made about us. And I think that's what, personally, I really related to, is that the musicians were us. They weren't David Bowie. They weren't, you know, Yes. They weren't Pink Floyd. You know, they weren't rock stars.
They were more
in
touch with regular people, weren't they?
Absolutely. and I'm still friends with them all. When they do, Madness guys were all like, you know, they were building labourers and gardeners and stuff, and then they got a band and they got very successful out of it, and it caught everybody, and it was such a brilliant thing because it was very working class and very from the street. I know it sounds a bit of a cliche word, but it was. You know, it's a bit like grime is now. You know, it's being created by kids in council estates, so it's got a depth to it. It means something. It's not Simon Cowell making lots of money. It's a depth of music, and I think that will last forever. I think anything that's true and solid, whether you're writing a book, a poem, a story, a piece of music, if you mean it, it will last forever because somebody will always relate to it. And I think that's what reggae, I mean, whether you're black, whether you're from Jamaica, whether you're from England, or whether you're from Japan, you know, you can listen to that and you can relate to it because it's about real people and it means something, you know.
Yeah, it's where pop music doesn't.
It doesn't. No, it means let's make lots of money right now. Let's market it. Let's put loads of Coca-Cola signs up and let's sell loads of cans of Coke. That's what they do with pop music, you know. And the way the music industry is now, I think it's criminal, to be honest, the way it is. Because when you go abroad, especially, you know, you hear English music everywhere you go, and this tiny little rock wherever we are, North Atlantic or whatever, has created the best music the world has ever seen for a century almost, you know.
It's unbelievable.
It is incredible what it is. And I mean, you look at Brighton now. I mean, you go into any little venue in Brighton, you'll see young kids up there with their guitars, making their music, fighting hard with 3 people in the audience, but they're doing it because they love it. That's where you start, exactly. And I you know, I'm quite passionate about it, and I think, you know, me doing this event here now, what I want to achieve is once a year a big, you know, it's the Skinhead reunion, but it's a gathering of like-minded people
and it's
to come.
People who love the music.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and we've packed out 3 venues over this weekend. All the venues can't believe it because they didn't know. I just said, "Oh, can I use your pub for the night?" They didn't know what to expect, and they're like, Friday night was absolutely heaving. Saturday was, I mean, we couldn't get in the place. So many people turned up, and here we are in the view. And the guys upstairs are like looking at all these weirdos coming in with boots and shaved heads going, "Oh my God, what's this?" And I just said, "Listen, mate, you're going to make about $5,000 behind the bar, don't worry about it." And I said, "That guy," yeah, exactly. And then Roy Ellis comes in, he's got this 70-year-old black man comes in with all these big skinheads, and they go, "What's that?" It's like, we're there, that's the legend, that's what they've come to see. And it's like they don't get it. You can just see their heads and cogs are flying around. They just don't understand what it all is.
Well, they're missing out, aren't they?
Exactly. But you know, I mean, I'm amazed really. I mean, I've done it all through the internet, all through word of mouth, and one person's told another person. We've got probably 7 or 8 DJs that have come from all over the country, and a lot of them have got little internet radio stations and stuff. They're all doing it for the love. No one's getting paid. You know, we're just doing it to create it and to get it vibrant and get it alive and celebrate it. You know, really above anything, because it's something that's, I think, people need to see and need to hear.
They do. I mean, it's like I was saying with the people who brought the music over here originally. So many people don't know, do they?
No.
They just think the specials, madness, and you know, they don't know, do they?
Well, every musician will have influences from what came before them. So most of us of our age discovered, you know, I'd say madness and the specials. But those musicians got on stage and they were influenced by what they were listening to, and for some reason they really picked up on the early reggae sound. I suppose they were skinheads in the late 60s and that was their music. And so, I mean, I was talking to Chrissy about it, and at the time, you know, Chrissy Boy lives in Brighton actually, and they were saying that was just the music they loved playing, and they didn't realise anybody else was playing it, because everybody at the time was into sort of glam rock and pub rock and punk and things like that, and they were playing, you know, reggae as they saw it, as a white reggae band, which was quite an unusual thing at that time. And then they found out about the specials that were up in Coventry doing the same thing, so they got together, and obviously Two Tone happened, and it just, like I say, swept the nation really.
It's like I spoke to Pauline Black about it, and you know, they were saying they were doing covers by the Scatterlights and people like that, and that's how they originally got into it, and then obviously they created their own sound.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think any young band now, you know,
takes influence.
Yeah, you take influence, and you know the thing is, what I love about British music above any other music. Like if you speak to a Scandinavian band and say to them, "You sound just like the Ramones," they'd say to you, "Oh, great, do we?" If you speak to an English band and say, "You sound just like the Ramones," go, "No, fuck that, we're originals. We don't want to sound like anybody." And that's how we are. That's how the British are. We take an influence and we move it forward and we do something with it. So
and you want to have your own sound, don't you?
You've got to have your own sound because you've got to be number one. No one remembers number two. Everyone remembers number one. So when the Sex Pistols came out, that was such an amazingly different sound. You know, a lot of people were going, "Oh, what's this noise? What's this racket?" You know, you got to think that at the same time Pink Floyd were in the charts, that were doing the most amazing orchestral pieces of, you know, music, and the Pistols just come out and said, "Fuck this, fuck that," and made a 3-minute song. But it was fantastic, and it's lasted the test of time, and it's the same as what reggae will do, and lots of these
never die.
It will never die, and these musics come and
you'll always find the future generations will, you know, they'll find it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, totally.
So tell us about this event that's happening at Club Ska. Then it's quite a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's Mark over there. He runs a club, the 100 Club up in Oxford Street. And they've got, who was it? David Ansel Collins, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, David Ansel Collins. I think it's on the 1st of September, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I'm not really involved with that, but he's playing with Symond, with Roy's band. But Roy Ellis's original band were called Symond. The original music was all recorded as Symond, but now Roy's not with the original band. He's got his backing band. They're called the Moon Stompers. But again, they're guys that just love the music. They're English and they're backing Roy up and playing the music. And Roy's the front man. So yeah, so he's running a club up, and he's a solicitor. You know, I'm an old skinhead. He's a solicitor, and we both love the same music. And again, it links people up, doesn't it? You know, everybody.
Definitely.
It's all.
It doesn't matter
types.
what you do, who you are, if you love the music.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. Well, thanks for joining us on the show. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, and thank you very much. And to let you all know that it will be the second weekend of June next year. It will all be happening again. And look for us. I've got a website. It's called subcults.com with a Z. So it's subcultz.com. Have a look on there and just find out what's going on and get in touch with us and get you a wristband for next year. And see you all there.
Great. We're joined by Geno Blue of Club Ska. How you doing?
Hi Chris, hi Meridian listeners. We're doing good, and we're about to go on stage with Roy Ellis. We are the Moon, Mr. Symond, the very man himself. We are the Moon Stompers, and amongst the ranks of the Moon Stompers, we've got former players with Laurel Aitken, former players with Bad Manners, current players with the Specials, and lots of other bands as well. We recently played with Dawn, and that was wonderful at the 100 Club. Anyway, I just thought I'd give a plug to our upcoming show.
Yeah, plug away.
1st of September at the 100 Club, Club Ska's new home for the last 18 months or so. We have Dave and Ansel Collins playing in the town. First club date in 40 years in London, so you've got to come down to that. That's the 1st of September, Saturday the 1st of September.
It's going to be a very special gig, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. I mean, we've put on some real boom shows this year because it's the 50th year of Jamaican independence on the 6th of August, and because we love the music so much, so we thought we'd respect it properly, and we put on some big shows. And then on the 3rd of November, we've got Symond with Mr. Roy Ellis, and as very special guests, Gaz Mail's wonderful band, the Trojans. So how's that for a double header? Tickets at Star Green or tickets at We Got Tickets, and all info at clubska.com. So thanks for your support for through the years, Chris, because we know you've done good stuff for us. We appreciate it.
That's all right, no worries. I mean, I'll be coming along to the gigs, so I'm looking forward to them.
Well, so am I. You know, all these years I've been into I'm in my 50s now, so I've been into the ska for a long time, but I've never seen Ansel Collins live. You know, so for me, that's a real thrill. I mean, I love Dave Barker, don't get me wrong, but see the two of them together, Bigger Bass! What a tune that's going to be when they play that. So many great tunes. Monkey Spanner, Double Barrel. It's just going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. And then November, look forward to after that. So yeah, but really enjoying being down in Brighton. Really being nice to be in your patch and getting to meet you face to face. And I could tell you all sorts of tales about the members of this group.
Yeah, go on then.
Well, our drummer is the son of Paul Fox, lead guitarist of the Ruts. Our rhythm guitarist played with Laurel for 7 years and leads a band called Freetown. Plays with Rico a lot. Played with Alton Ellis. Played with all the big stars over time. A real strength in depth. We've got some great players. Got Drew Stansall, as I say, who plays with the Specials. Got a guy called Jimmy from Leicester, who's 6'4", and he's just a wicked trombone player. He won't be here on this show tonight, but he'll be with us on the 3rd of November, so it'll be special. So pin your ears back, get ready for the reggae train, which is going to come through Hove Town tonight.
Brilliant. Well, thanks a lot for joining us. It's been great talking to you, and we look forward to all them events.
Well, my pleasure, Chris, and don't forget, Club Ska at the 100 Club. Check out clubska.com. It makes sense. We'll see you down the front.